Hello, hello. Welcome to Coffee Chat with Angie, episode number 36, where we talk about eco-friendly ideas fighting against the shit stem of the bully dozer. Okay, and this is uh, episode 10 of Under the Witch's Moon, and it's chapter 8 of The Who of Yah. So this is a really important part of the lion. This is what it's all about. See, we live in a world where people argue about dogma and trying to figure out who the elite ones are and blah, 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 blah. But those are really this much lesser things to be worried about. So the lion knows the secret. The lion knows the secret, and the secret is that it's a war. The question of how to live your life, the lifestyle, is a war, and the lion is a warrior. We're wolves that, like a Native American putting on war paint, we put on the warrior spirit of the lion, just like the African warriors did. They would put lion's manes on their head, and the Rastas used dreadlocks, and your dreadlocks are the sign of a warrior. We're a war. This is a war. And even if it wasn't the difficult times of today, it's a war. It's when you kill. You might be a peaceful person that never kills anything, but yet you eat meat every day, Well, that meat had to be killed, Eating is war, Okay, so the Ital Lion and the Squirrel is the name of this chapter. Okay, so now the archetypes in the Yan Sui pantheon have been established. Now we must establish the fundamental aspects of the lifestyle that replaces religion, since that has ended, the end times. From the vocabulary of the lion comes the word Ital. Ital means something in between the natural way and genuine. In other words, practice what you preach to yourself and others. But from the perspective of the Yan Sui, you might say it means flexitarian. The Yan Sui witch has 3 versions: the green robe diet, the blue robe, and the white robe. All 3 are linked in the description box. The green robe is 2 things: the foundation of all 3 diets and the recipes for the green and white robe diets. The green robe is the starting point, the apprentice. The color green means the natural way. Flexitarian means you try to be somewhere in between vegan and lacto-ovo vegetarian, but you do eat meat, high quality meat, almost every day, but rarely more than once a day. So you are flexible, you are flexitarian. The new vegetarian, Ital. So it's our own kind of Ital. So that's what we tell ourselves and others. So that's how we must stay genuine, therefore. But Ital doesn't just mean genuine. It means the natural way. So very, very little sugar, no high fructose corn syrup and such. We sweeten things with 100% honey and liquid stevia. Stevia is a plant, not a chemical like the other no-calorie sweeteners. Powdered stevia is a hoax. Stay away from it. You can carry liquid stevia in your purse, but it takes experience to use liquid stevia. Too much is bitter, for example. So you got to find what's good, what works for you. So knowing that, as far as reading ingredients, stevia is not the only natural no carb sweetener. So you can research that. The idea with the diets are consistency. something you live the rest of your life. If you haven't eaten sugar all year, for example, and you eat an entire pie for Halloween, it's no big deal. The key word, lifestyle. When others worry about dogma and who's the elite and who should do this and who can't do that and who should be marginalized and who should, all this shit, while they're worrying about that stuff, we worry about lifestyle. So this is what really matters. It's not the dogma. That's what the Who of Yah is all about. We keep the mythology short and sweet, and then it can branch out from there on the individual's perspective. But it's all about how we're going to really make a difference, and what really matters is the lifestyle. And the earth needs our help. Since there are so many humans as individuals, we can help. How we can help is with our lifestyle. Remember, love starts within, and we love the earth and wildlife. Using plastic and petroleum products less, if at all, and hemp more often helps. Move the power off the current leaders and onto new, fresh ones that actually care. Like on the movie Ants, where they think they have to listen to the leader and they realize the leaders are only powerful because of the individuals. Fire, water, air, and earth, the planeteers. Solar power, hydropower, wind power, and hemp. Babylon endlessly makes everything out to be a competition and or war. But solutions aren't one thing. They're not one religion, not one nation, not one ethnicity, not one diet, not one energy source. It's not a competition. It's not a contest. The key word is sustainable. Things in nature are spectrums, not binaries. Transgender animals, plants, and clean water. Pointing out how trans women are different than natural-born women, whether solar or wind power is better, etc., is not working. It's not a contest. It shouldn't need be a war. It's easy to unite. Let's get on to the things that actually matter, like lifestyle. It's a case-by-case situation through all these things they call arguments. Anyway, our lifestyles are what make the rich people rich, etc. The food for humans are 5 things. Number 1, protein. Number 2, carbos. Number 3, fat. Number 4, catalysts. And number 5, water. With the exception of the blue robe diet, we should eat mostly protein. This protein is all about the ratios of these 5 things. And protein is the thing, besides water really, but it's what we eat mostly, protein. Then carbs, then fat. Water and catalysts are not really food, so mostly protein, then carbs, then fat. Since protein is the biggest thing we shoot for high quality with those. According to the data and facts, eggs are the best source of protein for humans. Key word, it's the most usable. Beef, for example, might have more grams of protein, but it's so hard to digest, most of it is not even used. Eggs turn almost directly into flesh, so get the best quality. Not a time to go cheap. The best eggs are brown, smaller, and at least cage-free, but hopefully pasture-raised. But the cheap kinds might have to do in a financial pinch emergency. Eat 3 eggs a day, every day, or even more sometimes. Every day. That's what ovo means, lacto-ovo vegetarian. Higher quality protein for humans. If it's meat, the lower fat meats are best because the fat complicates digestion and so it isn't as usable. So fish and seafood is the best kind of meat. And the fat it has is the healthiest fat anyway, like salmon. But due to human pollution, eating fish more than 2 or 3 times a week will give you mercury poisoning. So the next best is birds, poultry. So get the higher quality, organic, better chicken and turkey. Since so many humans eat those, however, we need to get the better, more expensive kind. And turkey is better than chicken. And if it's beef, like once a week or less, if it's beef, only eat beef once a week or less. Try to get grass-fed when you do eat beef, etc. When we say higher quality, we usually mean organic. Okay, so if the flexitarian diet eats meat only once or less times a day, which, by the way, in and of itself is enough to fix most of our species' problems right there. So how do we get our protein when it's not our daily eggs and meat? For this, we look to the squirrel. The vegetarian proteins are seeds, nuts, beans, legumes, and grains, the bulk of a squirrel's diet. Anywhere junk food is, we can also eat seeds and nuts. We can also find seeds and nuts, like at the gas station. But squirrels also eat plenty green veggies, mushrooms, and other plants. Sometimes they do eat meat. Everything has protein, kind of, etc. The healthiest vegetarian protein are walnuts and pecans. Number 2, carbos. In this diet, we decide what the core foundational components are, and those are the appropriate times to go high quality and organic, and hopefully non-inflammatory. So basically wheat bread, but just because it says wheat bread does not make it okay. It might be mostly white flour with just some wheat bread in it, or wheat flour in it. So get 100% whole wheat bread. I eat at least 4 pieces of bread, but often 5 or 6 pieces every day. The fiber adds sustenance to make poo, which eases digestion, pushing things through. The most healthy source of carbs for humans are fruit. And to keep the ratios right, we go with lower glycemic index fruit, like citrus and berries. But the other fruits we can eat 2 or 3 times a week too, especially apples. So citrus and berries daily, and get 2 or 3 other kinds of fruit to eat during the week also when you go shopping. So according to Dr. Colombo, grapes and apples are the best source of energy for humans. So before a workout, you might eat an apple. Number 3, fat. Learn the difference between healthy fat and bad fat. Use first cold-pressed extra virgin olive oil. Use this for everything. A little butter is good. So men need cholesterol to make testosterone. Their testicles need it. So, like, I don't have testicles. Women, we don't have testicles, but still it would be okay to eat a little butter. But especially if you're a man, you got cholesterol in your egg yolks, and a little butter would be good, but you don't need much. The blue robe diet is all about how you eat protein and fat. So there are exceptions with the blue robe diet, but fat is important. So eat your fish and use olive oil, and avoid other oils like corn oil, palm oil, vegetable oil, and all these other oils that everything has in it. So you can study those details on your own. That's the basic idea. Eat 3 to 4 avocados a week. Okay, number 4, catalysts. Catalyst means it helps your body do what it needs to do. Vitamins and minerals and electrolytes, basically. Food source catalysts are the best. So eat plenty of greens, organic kale, spinach, broccoli, Brussels sprouts, asparagus, and just vegetables in general. Always be learning. A witch is always learning. And organic vitamin pills are better than the other kind. And they're harder to find. You have to try to find them. Some of the metallic vitamins, like iron, cause cancer, for example. So get organic vitamins. No diet is so perfect that you can't benefit from a good vitamin pill. Some vitamins are fat soluble and some are water soluble. Fat soluble vitamins are stored, so you only need them once a day, but water soluble ones are not stored, so you need them 2 or 3 times a day. So vitamins that are 2 or 3 times a day are better, or organic 2 a days or organic 3 a days. Especially if it has some extra little things that are exciting. I also take a garlic tablet every day. Garlic has one of the best track records in nature. A calcium pill with magnesium to go with it, so you don't get cramps, and it helps you to use the calcium, and with that you might get gallstones from just taking just calcium alone, and zinc. I also take a D3 because I'm a trans woman. Women in general need D3 because we are so likely to get osteoporosis. We're even more likely as trans women. Number 5, water. We are mostly made of water. Water is more important than any of the other parts of this diet, so drink plenty and filter it. Okay, so that's the basic philosophy. And there's so much more I could say, but I'm trying to, just like everything else, I'm just trying to keep it basic. The blue robe diet is the keto diet version. It is how I beat diabetes, and because I'm an alcoholic and have cirrhosis, and therefore got cirrhosis, I also used it to get my liver to normal liver functioning when I was going to die. It's how I cheated death. So if you are overweight, learn the green robe diet, then quickly go to the blue robe diet. And because you can't do the blue robe diet forever, you can't do the keto diet forever, after a while switch to the white robe diet. The white robe diet is the end goal. The green robe diet is about learning the recipes. The white robe diet is for the master of all 3 diets. In the white robe diet, you eat recipes in the green robe diet for dinner every day. Okay, so this is the basic idea with the white robe diet. And you start doing it right away. Even when you're doing the green robe diet, you still use this basic format. It's in even the keto diet, it still is similar, It's different because you're doing intermittent fasting and everything, but it's still basically the same thing. Okay? So if when you're doing the green robe diet and starting out, you're still doing this basically. Okay, number 1, you start out with the BMD breakfast. The BMD breakfast. BMD stands for best meal of the day. Your healthiest. So now, anything you say, the diet is a lot like religion. You say one thing and there's people that disagree, and everybody thinks they know what they're talking about. You eat at breakfast, it just makes you hungry. Well, what are we doing after breakfast? This breakfast will kind of leave you hungry 2 or 3 hours later, but wait till you see what we do 2 or 3 hours later. Okay, so breakfast, this is America, One of the reasons it's the best meal of the day is because you're probably about ready to go to work and you can't bring your fridge with you, So it's also that, It has to be realistic. It's not just talk. This is something you have to do your whole life. BMD breakfast. BMD breakfast. You eat 3 eggs a day. It doesn't really matter how you cook them to keep it interesting. But you wouldn't want to add too much shit in it, I add cheese to my eggs when they're scrambled, and if I do